Good evening and welcome to Tom and Ben News United Kingdom, and we start off with a quick viewers news from the one and only Talking Tom and Friends channel. He says that Kevin Conroy, legendary Batman voice actor, dies at the age of 66 after a battle with cancer. 18 children and the driver hospitalised with injuries after a school bus crash in Kentucky. Wendy's debuts first ever holiday frosty. The Astros win over the Mariners, ties longest MLB playoff game. Apple releases new AirPod beta firmware to developers, and Big Ben starts chiming again after a 5-year, £80 million repair.
To sport now, and England have beaten Pakistan in the T20 World Cup Final after a superb bowling performance set up Ben Stokes for another match-winning innings.
Chasing 138, England got home by 5 wickets despite losing Alex Hales early to an unplayable delivery by Shaheen Afridi. But Ben Stokes was once again England's hero, scoring an unbeatable half-century with the bat to calm nerves and secure victory.
England's last T20 World Cup win was in the Caribbean. They are also the current one-day international champions, which they won at Lord's in the famous final of 2019. England reached this year's final despite a humiliating defeat in a rain-affected match against Ireland in the early rounds.
Well, is Wales ready to make an improvement at last? Because they are facing the United States in little under an hour's time.
The United States have had to wait more than 8 years to play on the world stage after failing to qualify for Russia 2018. Wales, meanwhile, have had to wait even longer as Gareth Bale will lead the team in the first World Cup since 1958.
Eochidim Cymru! To other news now, and a new poll has revealed that more than half of Britons blame the UK government over global factors for the cost of living crisis.
A nationally representative poll of more than 2,000 people from Find Out Now for Channel 4 News found that 51% of people believe the government was largely culpable for the soaring cost of household bills, while 37% hold international factors such as the COVID pandemic and the war in Ukraine responsible.
In the wake of Chancellor Jeremy Hunt's explosive autumn budget, 29% of voters said they now trust Labour to run the economy. Meanwhile, just 19% put their faith in the Conservative Party on fiscal matters.
It comes after Prime Minister Rishi Sunak and his Chancellor were accused of shielding the super-rich from paying their fair share of tax by refusing to abolish the non-dom loophole.
Police Scotland have stood down searches for a woman who was swept into the River Don near Inverurie in Aberdeenshire on Friday as heavy rain continued to batter much of eastern Scotland.
The force said in a statement late on Friday evening, around 3:05 p.m. on Friday, November 18th, police were called to the River Don near to Monymusk following a report of concern for a woman in the water.
They also said police and emergency services attended and searches were carried out. Following assessments of the river conditions, the search has been stood down for the evening. Police inquiries are ongoing. The woman is believed to have been attempting to rescue a dog.
A sexual predator described as a danger to any woman has pleaded guilty to the murder of Zara Aleena. Jordan McSweeney, aged 29, also admitted sexually assaulting the law graduate as she walked home from a night out in East London last summer.
Zara Aleena, aged 35, died from multiple injuries after she was kicked and stamped on by McSweeney from Dagenham. She was discovered in Ilford by passers-by in the early hours of the 26th of June.
She was then left partially naked and struggling to breathe, and she was taken to hospital where she died later that morning. McSweeney, who had only recently been released from prison, had 28 previous convictions for offences, including assault.
Failures by West Midlands Police contributed to the deaths of Raneem Oudeh and her mother, who were murdered by the daughter's abusive husband, an inquest has heard.
Raneem Oudeh, aged 22, and her mother, Khaola Saleem, were fatally stabbed by Janbaz Tarin in Solihull outside Mrs. Saleem's home in 2018.
The mother and daughter were murdered as Miss Oudeh was on the phone to West Midlands Police, one of 5 999 calls she had made to officers on the night she was killed.
Civil servants at several government departments will take part in a month of sustained industrial action from mid-December.
Members of the PCS union who work for the Home Office, Border Force Department for Transport and DEFRA are seeking better paying conditions. Ports, borders and all areas of transport, including driving licences, will be affected as some drivers take action for the entire month while others will walk out for shorter periods.
PCS General Secretary Mark Zawatka said the exact details of the action will be announced nearer the time to give the government as little notice as possible. He said ministers should be dealing with the causes of the dispute rather than making contingency plans.
Back to the story of the World Cup 2022, and FIFA President Gianni Infantino has accused the West of hypocrisy in its reporting about Qatar's human rights record on the eve of the World Cup.
In an extraordinary monologue at a news conference in Doha, Infantino spoke for nearly an hour and made a passionate defence of Qatar and the tournament.
The event has been overshadowed by issues in Qatar, including deaths of migrant workers and treatment of LGBT people. Infantino, who was born in Switzerland, said European nations should apologise for acts committed in their own histories rather than focusing on migrant workers' issues in Qatar. Leader of East Lindsey District Council and residents of Skegness are frustrated by the lack of notice given to hotels in Skegness that they would house asylum seekers.
Boston and Skegness MP Matt Warman told BBC Look North that there are currently 5 hotels being used, up from 3 last week, but is worried that there is an unfair burden being put on Skegness.
Emotions were running high when Skegness residents confronted the local town council over the use of hotels for asylum seekers.
Russia's surge in missile strikes in Ukraine is partly designed to exhaust Kiev's supplies of air defences and finally achieve dominance of the skies above the country, a senior Pentagon official said on Saturday.
Russia has been hammering cities across Ukraine with missile strikes over the past week in one of the heaviest waves of missile attacks since Moscow began its invasion nearly 9 months ago.
Ukraine says the strikes have crippled almost half of Ukraine's energy system, creating a potential humanitarian disaster as winter sets in.
Meanwhile, Prime Minister Rishi Sunak has pledged £50 million in defence aid to Ukraine as he met President Volodymyr Zelensky in his first visit to Kiev since becoming Prime Minister.
The aid package is intended to counter Russian aerial attacks. The £50 million defence aid comprises 125 anti-aircraft guns and technology to counter deadly Iranian-supplied drones, including dozens of radars and anti-drone electronic warfare capability.
Mr Sunak also announced the UK will increase the training offer to Ukraine's armed forces, sending expert army medics and engineers to the region to offer specialised support. Okay, it seems that we have breaking news that a migrant staying at the Manston Processing Centre in Kent has died, and that's according to the Home Office.
Yes, and the person believed to be a male had been taken to hospital after becoming unwell. A spokesman for the Home Office issued their, quote, heartfelt condolences over the death.
They said there was no evidence at this stage that the person had died from an infectious disease. The spokesman said, quote, we take the safety of those in our care extremely seriously and are profoundly saddened by this. Anyways, let's get straight to the weather now, and tonight will be unsettled for many with a band of heavy, blustery rain pushing in from the west. Southern coasts could see very strong gusts at times.
Tomorrow looks drier and brighter for many, but rain will linger across parts of Scotland through the day. Another band of rain will move in from the west on Wednesday. There will be brighter skies for southern areas later in the day, and that is the weather.
That's all today. Thank you for watching. Have a nice day, and please subscribe, because according to YouTube statistics, only 67% of you are watching this channel but have not subscribed.
So please make sure you subscribe with notifications turned on so that you don't miss out on any future content. And while you're at it, make sure you like and follow us on our Facebook page. The link is in the descriptions box below, or you can use the Facebook app.
And we shall see you on our St Andrew's Day special, which is on the 30th of November.